Yeah, get him. Ugh.
There you go.
Welcome to Invite Sent. Oh, boom! It's an issue with our industry for sure.
Yeah, I mean, Bubba, being in the fighting game community is a hot take for anybody watching.
If you're feeling uncomfortable, imagine how often and how regularly the person you're trying to stand up for feels that way, and they don't even say anything to initiate it. They just are, and someone's attacking them for who they are without even being provoked.
Welcome to Invite Sent. We are a live streaming show where we interview people and play video games.
Health is on the way, dear.
Did he make it in? Did he get all 20? Yes, way to go. If you'd like to be on Invite Sent, be interviewed, and play video games, please go to bubbagatter.com and request to be on the show. And I'll let you know if the invite is sent. Yeah, get him. Ugh.
There you go.
Welcome to Invite Sent. Welcome, hello, and welcome. Hello, welcome to Invite Sent Season 3. We've been doing this since 2021. Thank you guys so much for coming to all the amazing episodes with tons and tons of people in the gaming and esports space. I'm your host, Bubba Gaddard, and this is Invite Sent Season 3, Episode 1. If you haven't been around, if you haven't checked out any of the other shows, next week we'll have the Rave Esports show with Rave Pubs. We'll be doing some fun stuff. We got on the shows coming up. We got Angela Bernard Thomas from Esports U. We've got Kevin Diltz from Extron. I think we've got Victor Castro coming up from Army West Point. I got Jeff Palumbo from Lenovo coming up this Friday. We also have a partner in crime to our guest today, Matthew Hugh from 1HP. Man, we've got Karen Keanu Smith. We've got Julie Mavra George. Man, we've just got a great lineup of different people on different shows coming up. Also, this the February 6th, we're going to be having Spotlight. We're going to have a bunch of different people on, those who have been affected during layoffs in the gaming industry space, gaming esports space. We'll have a couple sessions, 15 to 20 minutes each, where you can go on and talk about yourself and about your career and your CV, your resume, and promote yourself out there to the industry. So please check that out on my LinkedIn page. You can sign up for Spotlight. We'd love to have you. But today we're gonna play a little bit of video games today, because on Invite Sent we like to play a few video games and interview people while we have some fun. If you've seen the show Hot Ones, we don't eat hot wings, obviously, but we do play some video games, and I ask tough questions. I'm not like a great journalist that asks Barbara Walters level type questions, but it makes it pretty difficult when trying to play a game and answer questions. And today we've got an amazing guest who's going to come in today and play a little Fall Guys with us. The COO and co-founder of 1HP, Caitlin McGee. How are you today? Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me on. I'm doing great. Really excited to be playing some Fall Guys with you today and talking all things health and performance and esports and how we got here.
I am super excited because I know you're a pretty good gamer. That's what I hear in the circles. I hear you're pretty stellar.
There are some things I'm good at.
We were also looking at playing
neighborhood.
Legos. We're gonna play Lego or
Yes.
something, right? What Lego games do you play?
So I have all of the Lego Star Wars and all the Lego Lord of
Nice.
the Rings ones, because when you need a nice, cozy comfort game, there's nothing like Legos. And I've only got so much space in my condo. Also, to be fair, my cats would try and eat the real life blocks. This is safer.
Yes, this is true. Have you played Lego Fortnite by chance?
I have not, but you should check with Matt on Friday about that.
Okay.
And if he's hopping on with you to play some Fortnite, you should ask him about the Lego variety, because
We-
he does have a daughter, and I know
Okay.
he does Legos with her, so this might be a good
Okay.
intersection for him.
Well, 100%, because I've been playing with Steve Isaacs and all them epic people, and it's been
right.
pretty fun. And with my kids, for sure, they've really enjoyed it. I've had a lot of fun. But Lego, I do enjoy Lego Harry Potter and all those games as well. So hey, we're in a match. We're playing duos. Let's see how this goes. I'm the little green guy. You are this
I'm
amazing.
the tutu.
You are either Gimli from Lord of the Rings, or you are Cartman's character from that one South Park episode.
I'm off to a great start. I've already found one fake door with my face.
Okay. I like to follow a little bit. Oh no, oh no. Oh, we're in the same bucket here.
We gotta spread out. We need a better strategy here.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, you know what? I don't think I've played this level where the floor moves like that.
Uh-huh.
I haven't done that with this one before. I haven't played in a while. Okay,
Yeah,
so
I might be a little rusty. I feel better now knowing that I'm not the only rusty one.
As we play this, what was the first video game you ever played?
Very first video game I ever played was probably actually something on my Game Boy Advance.
Okay.
Which we played on our way down to a vacation in North Carolina. My first, I guess, I don't know, PC or console, like real game, I guess, was Legend of Zelda,
Ooh.
Ocarina of Time.
Ocarina of Time.
Starting with a classic.
We totally got rocked just then.
We really did.
How do
We're
we
not
even?
off to a
We have
start.
to start a whole new game now. So we could just sit and watch people or play a new game. Obviously, we're gonna play a new game, and we gotta wait till it obviously loads out. So, Ocarina of Time. What did you like most about Ocarina of Time?
So, it's honestly easy to remember what I liked the least, which was that gosh darn water temple, which anybody in our generation could probably relate to. I guess I think one of the things I really liked most was just how, as you played through the game, you'd end up going back to areas that you hadn't been in before, or that you had been in before, and there was something kind of new and a different way to engage with them.
Okay.
Which I enjoy, and that's definitely a staple of Zelda games. You know, I think probably my favorite Zelda game of all time would be Twilight Princess. But Skyward Sword is also great, and they do this really cool thing where, like, you go through each of these areas multiple times, and each time the area is a little bit different. You have to do new things there, so you get a little bit more every time you play through the same thing all over again.
Yeah. Okay, I love that. Everything about that game just brings back so many memories. Did you ever play the versions of the overhead? Oh gosh, what year did you graduate high school? First of all.
Let's see. I graduated high school in 2008.
Okay, I'm in the lobby, by the way.
All right.
So 2008. Okay, so I'm definitely a lot older. Right out of high school, I actually worked for the YMCA, and I think that was you as well, right out of high school.
It was also me, yeah. One of my very first jobs was in the local YMCA. I worked in kind of like the gym area.
Okay.
Making sure that people were lifting stuff safely, making sure that people were putting their stuff away, doing a lot of cleaning, making sure that small children were not running into the weight areas, making sure that high school teenagers, especially teenage boys, were not trying to lift amounts of weight that were going to kill them in attempts to impress the people around them. There was a lot of guidance being provided.
Sure. Okay. I kindred spirit here. Definitely the same pattern of I was a fitness instructor and a personal trainer, and that was where and referee. That's where I definitely got my start. What drew you to the YMCA back in 2009?
A big part of it was just, it was really close by. I knew I wanted to do something health and kind of medicine related when I graduated from college. I knew that was kind of the route that I wanted to take. I also knew that I had a huge interest in performance, which is why I got my undergrad degree in exercise and sports science. And so the YMCA seemed like a really good fit for an opportunity to work in a fitness environment, get to, talk to a whole bunch of people, experience a whole bunch of different ways that people want to exercise. And in a really awesome community setting like the YMCA is. Mm-hmm.
I love that. What, so you spent a couple years there?
Yes.
Okay. And what city was this? This is in Indian Valley. Where's Indian Valley?
This was in Harleysville, which is a little tiny town up in Pennsylvania. The nearest big thing is the King of Prussia Mall, which is probably the thing that people actually know.
Sure. Oh my gosh. I forgot. I think I had to use control on my keyboard.
Control to dive.
Yeah,
yep.
I forgot. Okay, I'm right behind you. Okay, nice. And then, so right out of high school, where you went to college at? I don't know how to say that.
It's Ursinus.
Ursinus,
It was a little tiny D3 school.
Okay.
We were known for being a liberal arts program, and a
Okay.
pretty good one. But we
Yeah.
also had a really fantastic sciences program. I did neuroscience and exercise and sports science there, and I had a really fantastic experience as an athlete. I was a 3-sport athlete. I did, well, technically 2 sports. It's soccer and track and indoor track. And all right, we made it through this round. Good job, us.
Oh, I fell multiple times.
I really enjoyed kind of the structure that you end up with when you're both playing a sport and studying, because you really have to manage your time well. But you also have like a built-in community of like folks that you are growing and going through that whole experience with.
Yeah.
You have a built-in group of friends, which certainly doesn't hurt.
Right.
I remember one of my classmates in my neuroscience program. Gosh, first name John, can't remember his last name to save my life. But he was a huge League of Legends player. And at the time, I didn't know esports at all. I had no idea what League of Legends was. I didn't know what esports was.
Yeah.
I just knew that he talked about League of Legends a lot. And I was like, good for you. I'm glad you're happy. And I found, not League, but Dota, just a few years later, when I was in my final year of grad school. I was crashing on a friend's couch because I was down in the area to do a job interview. And he said, all right, there's 3 rules for staying the weekend. Rule number 1, you have to play any video games that I introduce you to. That was the most important rule. So I played Dota 2. I watched him do in-game stats for Dota 2. I had no idea what was going on, but I knew I liked it. And I really wanted to do the statistics part of things too, because I love the data analysis being applied to gaming. So I started doing in-game stats for Dota 2 as the very first esports thing I ever did. And the very first esports game I ever played was Dota 2, which is not known for being the most easygoing or welcoming of communities.
Sure.
It's all right. We found some good folks there regardless.
This was this what in the chat here, Nate, what's up on Instagram? Kyle, yes, that was close. We just barely made it. And Seth Johnson over on LinkedIn, good morning or good noon. Hope all is well. Yes, thank you, sir.
Happy time zone, as we say in esports.
Yeah, happy, yes, very much so. So was this when you were at University of Delaware? When was this, all this going on?
So when I was just finishing my PT program, my doctorate in physical therapy at the University of Delaware, the last thing you do in a PT program is a clinical rotation, where you go out and you are a PT just under the supervision of a PT who is already licensed, obviously. And so I was doing a clinical rotation in JFK Johnson, which is a brain injury rehab hospital in New Jersey. After having done one in outpatient and in pediatrics, because I wanted to try all the different kinds of PT that there is. It was towards the end of my final rotation in the brain injury unit, and I was starting to look at what I wanted to do next. And I liked DC, the area. There were some really good hospitals down here. I had some friends in the area, and I'm really glad I did end up living down here, because DC is also great for gaming. I mean, in more recent years, we've got the arenas and such. But back then, way back when, a big thing that we had was, and still have, is a lot of Super Smash Brothers and fighting games locals. We've got Xanadu, we've got the Cave.
Nice.
We had this one that was up in Silver Spring in some guy's basement, because that's Smash Brothers. The very first tournament I ever worked was in Virginia, in Arlington. I worked at Pound in 2016.
Okay.
And I did on-site kind of like clinical health and PT booth. And I didn't even really have much of a plan at that point. I just reached out to the organizers and said, hey, I'm a physical therapist. I'm licensed in Virginia. Do you want me on site to offer PT services to players? Because I'd be down to do that. And they were like, sure, you can have a booth.
Okay, nice. I'm so struggling here. I think we both are.
Yeah,
which door to go into.
I've only finally just figured out that there's only one of these that's going to work.
Yeah, and I don't know if I've hit any of them correctly.
You try that one, I'll try this one.
Wait, I did try that one. Wait.
I found it. It's the one on the very end on the right.
There's one on the behind me. Oh, there's one behind as well. I didn't even go to that one. Oh shoot.
Oh god. Oh no.
Oh no. So which door did you go in? There's
I
one
went
behind
through the
us.
straight ahead door. All right.
I went left.
Door?
I went left.
Okay.
Far left. Far left
go
got
first.
me to the next thing.
Far left. Okay, got it.
And then I'm in like a new thing with a. Okay. Now. Okay, and then I went far left again. It took me. Wait. It took me back to the one before it. Wait a second.
So not going far left. Got it.
Okay.
I will go center this time. Center on the pink lens. All right.
Oh,
Center
this
on the
is-
pink lens sends you back to yellow, so it's far
Okay.
right on the.
I got to the after. Oh my lord! I just got flung off the world.
All right, far left on the yellow, far right on the.
Oh,
pink.
I don't even know what color it was. The second one, I went to the far right. Yeah, I think you're in front of me now. Maybe.
Oh, hi, cat.
Oh no, my gosh! Now.
Not far right. Okay.
Oh
God.
my
I'm backing
lord!
up
I'm in
again.
the sky. Oh my gosh. Hey, praise the fun 11. Hey yo, big fan of Caitlin from
Oh,
Smash
there's one's behind us.
Brothers.
Great.
Somebody says they're a big fan of you from Smash Bros.
Yeah, that's where I got started.
Okay.
I am, to be fair, absolutely terrible at Smash Bros. Even more terrible than I am at Fall Guys, if that's possible. All right, I think you're in the right one now.
Okay, I'm on the thing that's like the one thing
Yes.
swinging below.
Yep, I'm with you there.
I went straight. Now I got to the full exit. Oh my lord, that was difficult. The last one was straight. The one
Okay,
that
got it.
spins. Yes, there we go. Wait, no, what? Wait, okay, straight. Oh, not. Oh no. How do we qualify the last one? Just okay. How do we qualify? Because I made it.
Yep, as long as one of us makes it, I think we're good.
Oh my gosh. Donor
Thanks
Kebab
for
on
carrying
Twitch.
us on that
Hello.
one.
Oh, dude, you carried us last time. Carried us last time.
Yeah.
So,
I,
you got some
Smash
Smash
Stuff's how I
history?
met Matt as
Wow.
well.
Okay, okay.
Matt was how I almost didn't meet Matt because of Smash, which is to say, when I was at Pound, I worked
Mhm.
with Pew Pew U, and he was like, "Oh, you should totally meet my team's physical therapist. I think you'd really like him. You guys would get along great." And I was like, "Oh my god, there's a team that actually already has a PT. This is awesome." And then he kept forgetting to introduce me. So finally, Matt just stalked me on Twitter, and that
Yeah.
was how we got connected.
What was it? You said it PP. What was the name of the org? Or the
No, it's a player, Pew Pew U.
Pew Pew U.
Kevin.
Okay. Okay.
He now works at FlyQuest. He's great. He's just a really good dude and was a fantastic player. He was particularly well known for duos
Okay.
with SFAT, Zach.
Okay.
I'm going so fast.
Is this? Do you have to like collect a lot of coins in this one? I forget.
Yeah, you need to collect rings.
Oh, coin. Yeah. Sonic rings. Okay. I'm getting hosed. Everybody's still in the rings.
I got stuck in a.
I need to get 40.
wall. I think between
Right.
the two of us, we need to get 40.
Okay. We have 11.
Weird. We could be doing better.
Oh, I missed it. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Okay. Wow. What in the world? Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Doing better.
Gotta go fast.
Yeah. Okay, this is I don't always know what to do, but I'm glad you explained it. Let's see, did we qualify? Eliminated. Oh my gosh.
Well, we made it farther than our first attempt, so
Yeah,
you
we
know,
did.
progress.
Praise the Fun on Twitch says no one really credits Caitlin, but she kind of started hand health movement.
I really appreciate the sentiment, but I don't think I can take that much credit for it. I do want to talk. I'll talk a bit about kind of that whole progress.
And
so I don't
Seth
wanna sell
Jenny
myself
also
short, but I
says
don't
hello.
wanna-
Hello, Seth
Oh,
on
hi, Seth.
LinkedIn.
So, I got into esports at a time that there weren't too many health and performance folks doing things in esports.
Okay. Well, yeah.
And so there was a lot of opportunity to try new things, to introduce new concepts. And because I'm part of the community, not just some random outsider, I play Smash. I've competed, not well, but I have. I played Dota. I led our amateur Dota 2 League team for 3 seasons running. We won our MMR bracket 3 seasons running, just saying.
Mhm. Nice.
I think because of that, I had a really good understanding of what folks needed, and I was also entirely okay with learning and being taught what I was wrong about, and what players actually needed versus what I thought they needed. There are certainly plenty of other folks who've been on the ground in esports, kind of making similar strides to establish and develop health and performance here. My co-founder Matt is one of them. One of our other PTs, Elliot Smithson, is also a huge part of that. There have been some really great folks leading the charge in research. Seth is certainly one of those, as are folks like Matt Watson and Laura Swettenham over in the UK, Mike Trotter over in Australia and Sweden, depending on where he is at any given time. I was also really lucky that when I started in esports, PT was so new as a concept in esports that nobody really knew what PT could do, and they were kind of just like, oh yeah, I talked to this person once I already start hurting. And so one of the very first things that we worked on a lot was getting people to understand PT is not for just when you're already injured. And so probably about 2 or 3 years in, we were getting to a point where people were like, oh wait, I could also go to PT before I start feeling pain, kind of to prevent injury. And then about 5 years in, we were talking about, I can go to PT to improve my physical health and performance generally, not just to prevent injury. And sure, some of that was because I was doing education, but a lot of that was also because players were starting to get older and were realizing that, they were not going to be indestructible forever. Or, they were coming from diverse backgrounds that weren't just hadn't just grinded, had come from sports backgrounds sometimes, and then got really into gaming and esports, and so they were starting to seek out the things that were going to give them the next edge performance wise. So it wasn't just us, it was also that the community and the players were kind of shifting their expectations and their goals. So sure, we've done a lot of education for the community, for pro teams, for individual players, but I don't want to take all the credit. I don't want to sell the community short, because they've also, they've been interested in finding out what's going to be the next best thing, what's going to get them that next step forward.
The M2K meme, my hands hurt.
Yes.
Sounds like an inside joke that I don't know.
So there's a long-standing joke in the Smash community that Mewtwo King will never go to a doctor. I would like to dispel that myth, because I have in fact talked to Mewtwo King. That was actually one of the skits that we did at Beyond the Summit, at one of the Smash summits. Well, we shot a skit but didn't end up completing it. That was just a very dramatic slow motion of Mewtwo King and I slowly walking towards each other, and then it would just cut to us shaking hands and saying, "Hi, I'm a doctor."
That's awesome.
There are definitely players who have a justified resistance to changing what they're doing. Because if you think about it, pro players got to where they got to by doing what they've been doing. They didn't get there because somebody like me was with them the whole time.
Okay.
They got there doing their own thing. And so for me to come to them and say, you got to do it this way now, that disregards all of the work that they've been doing. And so a lot of times what we're doing is not just dictating or even really making any changes. A big part of what we're doing is understanding where the players are at and then meeting them where they're at.
Ooh, yeah.
So for some of our players, that means that they do want like a comprehensive health and performance program, and they really want to, up their fitness and increase their strength and increase their endurance. And for some players, they're like, I don't need that, but I get tired during VOD review, and so we're working a lot more on sleep than we are on anything else. And some of our players are more interested in nutrition, because they're like, I want to lose some weight, and I know that I need to eat healthier to do that, but I don't know what that looks like. What does eating healthier look like? And some players have injuries, and they're like, I would just like to not hurt so that I don't have to think about the fact that I am hurting. Yeah. And all of those are entirely valid ways to engage with health and performance. So the fact that we've gotten to do that kind of education and make it clear to players that we're not going to force them to change anything, we just want to help them perform their best, has really been key, because I mean, that's what we're here for. That's what PT is about. At no point should it be about us dictating. PT is great because it's participatory. It's not, I don't fix you with an injection or with a pill. No disrespect to doctors of other varieties. There's nothing wrong with that. But a thing that really drew me to physical therapy was how engaging it has to be for the patient. The patient has to be involved in the recovery process. And of all the communities I've worked with, gaming is the one where like everybody wants to know the why. Like they want to know why they're being given this exercise. What does this muscle do and how is it involved in the thing that I'm doing? They want to understand what's going on, which is great. I love being able to provide that kind of education, and when the players are seeking it out, all the better.
Yeah. Well, here again, this is what Praise the Fun says. When I was streaming Melee really often, I would play the summit video she was part of with basic stretches.
Yeah.
And run through headaches and shoulder pain is what he's talking about.
Yep. That was definitely a thing. I have no idea what we're doing on this level.
I don't even know. I have no idea either.
Am I supposed to be getting a penguin?
I guess I get up in the fan like you did. There. Come on, fan. There we go. Okay, I missed.
I also missed.
Is this like a... Oh, you have to hold something for a long time, right?
Yeah, I don't know what we're... Oh, I need to grab a penguin.
Oh, okay, okay.
All right. Grab a penguin with shift.
Yeah. I'm so close. Give me that penguin. Give me that
Come
penguin.
here, penguin. Come back.
Ah. This is ridiculous. There's 2 penguins in front of me. I gotta be able to get one.
All right, penguin going up. I'm following it.
Oh my gosh. There's 2 in front of me.
There's a penguin up there. Come here.
This is ridiculous. Ridiculous. I'm right next to it. I can't see it.
I can't. Get closer, penguin. I want to grab you. I just want to give you a hug.
Oh my gosh.
All right, I had one very briefly.
What in the heck? These are slippery little suckers.
Yeah, that was one of the cool things I got to do with Beyond the Summit was we did this educational video of like basic stretches. And certainly stretching isn't the only thing, or even necessarily the best thing for a lot of esports issues. A lot of esports issues are more endurance related. Yes, that's what it was called. How to save your hands, your back, and maybe your stocks.
Your stock, that's good.
Like for a lot of injuries, it's endurance related and you need to do exercises. But stretching can definitely help with managing tension, with, kind of decreasing soreness. And it can also be part of kind of mental recovery after playing for a while.
Yeah, 100%.
So that you've got, a little bit of time to reset. It's great for in between matches when you're at a tournament. That was one of the very first kind of content pieces I got to do in esports, and I really loved it.
What are some like common tips that you would give gamers at a tournament? So I'm going to a couple different events. I'm going to the Collegiate Esports Commissioners Cup in May, and that's 60, 70 college teams. I'm going to the high school championship, HSCL, in June, and then I'm going to NACAD in June as well. Like, there's a lot of things happening. What are some good things to help people walk away with for tips on health and wellness when it comes to tournaments?
So one of the really big things at a tournament is we try not to change too much of what you're doing. Because if you're going to make changes, you're going to be thinking about those changes. You're not going to be thinking about your game plan, your strategy. You're not going to be as focused as you need to be. So when we're working with folks at tournaments, a lot more of what we're doing is symptom management. It's, hey, let's do some hands-on manual therapy type stuff, or hey, let's add in some stretches after you play. Gentle stretches, not forcing hard range of motion. Hey, let's try out, this foam roller, this Theragun, this the stick, which is a self-massage device. But we don't want to make huge changes at tournaments because that's not the time for it. We want to make our changes after the tournaments.
Okay.
So I guess the biggest advice that I'd give to players who are getting ready for a tournament is practice how you're going to play. And that doesn't just mean the actual playing that you do of your game. It's also everything you do around it, the routines that you have, setting a consistent kind of bedtime and wake up routine. That's one of the best ways to help with sleep, especially when you're anxious or when you're traveling in new time zones. If you have a consistent sleep and wake time, that transition is a lot easier and you end up with higher quality sleep. And sleep is linked to a lot of cognitive performance improvements.
Yeah.
Selective attention, sustained attention, reaction time. It's also linked to decreased injury rates. There was a really great study of Duke basketball players that found that players who got less sleep, just an hour less sleep, had a significantly higher injury rate And players who got 1 extra hour of sleep not only had a lower injury rate, they also had better free throw accuracy and overall in-game stat performance.
That's amazing.
So sleep is huge, and if you're only going to focus on one thing that you want to make better about your health and performance, I'd say start with sleep. It's a great one. And when you're making those kind of good sleep habits, you want to start with consistency. You want a consistent sleep and wake time. It matters less what the time is, and matters more that the time is consistent. So if you are someone who's a night owl and you want to go to bed at midnight and wake up at 8, or you want to go to bed at 2 and wake up at 10, as long as that doesn't interfere with what you need to do during the day in terms of work or school or parenting, that's totally fine. Nothing wrong with that. You can absolutely have that sleep schedule as long as you're consistent with it. You want to have a consistent routine, something you do that tells your body, this is the time to go to sleep and this is the time to wake up. What that routine looks like is going to vary per person. God, I'm so bad at the grabbing. There we go.
Oh, I did it. Lucky me.
No, I missed.
Missed that time.
What that routine looks like is going to vary by person. It might involve some stretching. Maybe it involves taking a shower. Maybe it involves journaling. Maybe it involves listening to an audiobook. Whatever it involves for you is totally fine, as long as you're, again, consistent with it. That's going to be a theme. Consistency is kind of the theme here. Oh, I missed.
Yes.
You are once again carrying us.
No. Now, oh my lord. I don't think carrying is the right word I would use.
You also want something for a wake-up routine. Something that tells your body this is the time to be alert and awake and interactive. A lot of times you don't want to start your day with caffeine. I'm not saying avoid caffeine entirely. I am sitting here with my giant mug of tea. I would never tell people to avoid caffeine entirely. What I'm saying instead is you want to delay your first caffeine until like at least an hour after you wake up. It just helps with managing cortisol. So consistent sleep time, consistent wake time, consistent morning and evening routines. And then when it comes to what your room is like when you're sleeping, it should be like a cave. You want it to be dark and you want it to be cold.
Yeah.
These are great for putting your body to sleep. If you're traveling somewhere new and you know you're going to be dealing with, like, you have to sleep with a roommate because, you know, you have to have a shared hotel room, bring earplugs, bring a sleep mask, whatever it is that you need. Don't be embarrassed about it. Sleep is key. If you want to go beyond, if you want to start thinking about then what things you can do beyond just sleep to improve your performance at tournaments. Anything you can do to reduce the amount of decisions you have to make on game day is good. You can get decision fatigue, basically getting tired out by having to make lots of choices and decisions. And you're playing. You're going to be making a whole bunch of in-game decisions. Spare your mental focus and decide as many things as you can beforehand. Look up where the restaurants are nearby. Look up where you're going to eat, where you might order from. Look up where your hotel is relative to the event. Figure out, you know, are you going to be taking public transportation? Are you going to be walking? Are you going to be taking a taxi? What are you going to do to get where you need to be? The more you can do that ahead of time, the less you have to spend energy on it on the actual day of competition. And the more energy you have for kicking butt.
Love that. That's really great advice. I want to ask you, how many research articles do you think you have written?
So I've directly contributed to three. I can count. I've also written a textbook. I've co-edited a textbook. I've also contributed to a new textbook that's going to be coming out shortly. One of the editors is or was in chat. Seth Jenny is one of the editors for it.
Okay, great.
I'm super excited about this next textbook that's coming out.
Okay.
The one that we did in the past, we did a handbook of esports medicine. It's a kind of look at. It's a clinical textbook designed for healthcare professionals looking at common esports injuries and health considerations.
Okay.
This upcoming textbook, the one that we're putting out with Rutledge that Seth is editing, it's a lot more multidisciplinary. So it's it's got kind of a bit of everything. It's got
Okay.
information on esports and in education. It's got information on health and performance and ergonomics. It's got breaking down kind of different cultural differences across regions. So, you know, esports in the Middle East and Northern Africa versus esports in Europe versus esports in Asia versus esports in North America versus esports in South America. Looking at kind of the different things you have to consider when you're playing esports in different regions. It's just really comprehensive, and I think it's going to be a really great guide, in particular for schools and institutions that are looking to start up their esports programs. Hey, David. David is also an awesome researcher.
Excellent.
I'm so excited for this textbook. I just think it's going to be like a really great kind of very big compendium that a lot of folks are going to be able to use to just actually get an esports program off the ground. I think it's a great opportunity. I think esports in schools is fantastic as an opportunity to provide, you know, team-based education and kind of that intramural sports experience for folks who aren't particularly interested in sports, and that's fine.
100%. What work are you doing in the scholastic space, you know, with students?
So we designed a program for a career technical institution, which is kind of more practical focused. And there's plenty of debate on should we have esports degree programs, and that's not what I'm here to litigate.
Sure.
It's more, I think there's absolutely value in using esports as a way to provide education to folks. Because if it's something that you're interested in and if it's something that engages you, it's valuable. We've got some work with colleges as well. And on that front, we've been doing a lot of team performance-based stuff, the same way that we do with professional teams. The focus is always on finding what works for different teams, which is going to vary by team.
Okay.
Well, I don't know where
I don't know where to go either.
I have no idea what I'm doing.
There's supposed to be the ball you grab. Oh wait, Q. It's Q to grab a ball. Oh, you got to turn into a ball to roll down that hill.
Oh, that's the only way that you can get high enough.
Oh, I see. Okay. All right. Yeah, I definitely.
All right, I have figured that out now. Oh, and then you can stop being a ball. Got it.
Okay, let me do this. Then I have a question in the chat here. Okay, I made it. Luckily. What in the Sam Hill is going on? This is so cool. Oh my. Oh, I'm going so fast.
Gotta go fast.
I am going super fast. Okay. So question. Question from Praise the Fun. I have to smoke medical, so I guess medical marijuana. Any advice on how to do that in a healthy way that won't affect performance too much?
So I'm gonna be kind of upfront about my scope. I legally cannot advise on the taking of medications. That's not within my scope of practice as a physical therapist. What I can do is discuss what we know from the research about smoking, about marijuana generally, and about kind of alternate forms of intake. Marijuana in general, from a medical perspective, I have no opposition to it. The research that we have suggests that there is value to it, that there's definitely time and a place where it's really useful. I know a lot of my cancer patients that I've worked with previously have found it super valuable because it helps with managing nausea and actually stimulating appetite, which means they get enough nutrition. I know for some folks it helps with anxiety. I know for some folks it actually sparks anxiety. There are folks who have a paradoxic response to marijuana. So if you're going to be taking it for medical purposes, make sure that you've got a doctor monitoring things.
Yeah.
We do know that generally speaking, smoking anything is not great for your lungs. While we do have some research that suggests that smoking marijuana only is less bad than smoking nicotine-based cigarettes, it's still rough on your lungs. Anything smoking is rough on your lungs. Good news is for medical marijuana, particularly at medical dispensaries, they offer a variety of ways to do intake. As far as what type of intake is going to be best and most appropriate for any particular condition, that's something that a doctor has to recommend, not me. But we do know that generally speaking, smoking is rough on your lungs, no matter what it is you're smoking. And there is definitely a role for medical marijuana, but I can't dictate it.
Sure. I can't get out of this match. I'm not even playing. You're not. Are you playing?
Nope, I am.
They won't even let me leave the show.
You're stuck here forever now.
This is perpetual Fall Guys of rolling balls of human things. Okay, interesting. All right, we'll let that go. So, you've had information or advice. You've given out advice on ESPN and other places. What, like, when I think about these kind of high level organizations, ESPN, PC Gamer, IGN, like the places you've presented information, how do you get in front of those people first? Like, it's just they know about you, or
so I try to be really upfront about the fact that the way that I got started in esports is not necessarily replicable or sustainable for other folks. Like I said, I got started in esports at a time where there weren't really too many PTs here, so I became one of the go-to people because I was the only people to go to.
okay.
That being said, I don't want to sell myself short. I know what I'm about. I know what I'm talking about. I have a really good knowledge base, and I absolutely have valuable information to share. But I think a big part of how I ended up in front of a bunch of people was I was one of the only people that could have ended up in front of them. But I also make sure that because I'm part of the community, I'm engaging wherever the community is. So I'm on Twitter, less than I used to be, but that's Twitter's fault. I'm on Twitter, I'm on Instagram, I'm, in Discord servers because I play there, not just because I'm like, I've got some ulterior motive. And so I think that helped to get me in front of folks. I think the fact that I got to do a whole bunch of in-game stat stuff for Dota really helped as well, because that got me involved with a lot of the folks who do tournament work for Dota. I know for PC Gamer and for IGN, they found me mostly because of Twitter, because when I got started, and even still now, a lot of what I did was I just posted educational stuff. I posted, hey, here's something that's going to be useful for you. Here's something that's going to help you with your play or with your performance or with not being injured. And people were interested. People liked that. People would like to not hurt. So that got shared out. When I started working with pro players, the pro players would share the information if they found it valuable. So I think one of the really great things about esports and with gaming is just how much authenticity is valued. And I've never tried to be anything that I'm not. I've always just tried to be authentic about like, hey, look, I want to provide you with this information because I like people getting better. And also, from a selfish perspective, I want to see my favorite players continue to do really well. This serves me as well as it serves you. And so being a part of the community, being authentically myself and being authentic about, kind of, I've been here, I'm going to keep being here. That means that what I do is received better. Again, there's a justified amount of skepticism by the gaming community about, outside actors coming in and wanting to do things or change things or make things different, because plenty of people have come in and done that and just wanted to make money off of esports. And so I think for those of us who've been here and are here to stay, continuing to demonstrate that by just being part of our communities and participating in them and not just expecting something from them, has really paid off. As it happens, you're gonna get ahead because you did the right thing.
Sure. Now, let's jump into our last bit of time here. Did you start the Esports Health Performance Institute? Is that something you guys started?
It is, yeah. It's kind of a branch of 1HP. So 1HP is a multidisciplinary health and performance company. So we provide physical therapy, occupational therapy, athletic training, registered dietetics, nutrition support, psychology, mental performance support, a little bit of everything to teams, whatever they need. I see your invite there.
Okay.
There we go. Okay, I'm ready. But a lot of what we do is very player, team, and kind of institution focused, directly providing services. And we recognize that one of the biggest gaps in esports was just the lack of qualified healthcare professionals. We need more good folks in esports able to provide this kind of care and support to folks. at a variety of levels, from a PT who works at their local clinic who's got kids who are gamers coming in with injuries, to somebody who wants to work with a pro or collegiate team. We wanted to make sure that people were well equipped with what they need to know to do right by the esports community, to do right by gamers. So we started the Esports Health and Performance Institute, which is a continuing education platform designed for health and performance science professionals. And we also know that, reasonably and justifiably, the esports community has not had the best experience with certifications being offered in esports.
What?
So we wanted to make sure that we were offering a certification that was tied to some kind of real world value.
Sure.
So our certification is actually accredited to provide continuing education units for physical therapists and athletic trainers. We're also working on accrediting it for occupational therapists and for other healthcare professionals as well. Because again, I don't want it to just be some arbitrary thing. I want it to actually be tied to, if you couldn't for some reason find work with an esports team, if you didn't have that many gamers coming into your clinic, I want it to still be of some value to whatever professional is taking it. So making it so that it's part of your continuing education credits, which you're required to complete every year or 2 years, depending on the state, to renew your license and certification. That was kind of the big driver there.
When you say accredited, in what way do you mean accredited, and by who?
So for depends on the program. So for physical therapy, continuing education programs are accredited by state on a state-by-state basis. Some states have what's called licensure in kind, which means that if you are accredited in one state, they'll accredit you in all the other states. That's only for PTs, and it's only for some states. Occupational therapy has a central licensing body, the American Occupational Therapy Association. You have to go through a kind of qualifying application for your company first, and then you can qualify individual programs. Same thing for athletic training. So depending on which discipline we're talking about, that accreditation process looks different. But for PTs and ATs, at least, it counts towards your CEUs. For OTs, it can be approved on an individual basis after the fact, but you have to do a particular application for it, which we've helped folks with before. But we're trying to get the preemptive one approved, so that honestly, a big part of what we're trying to get it approved is when it's an approved continuing education course. A lot of times an employer will pay for it as part of your benefits package. A lot of them offer continuing education money or stipends.
Okay. So the certification that you guys have created is accredited by those entities that you mentioned.
It's accredited by a number of states, yes.
Okay,
Now there are there's definitely value even if you are not a PT or OT or an ATC, and even if you're not taking this for continuing education credits reasons.
Sure.
I think our foundations course in particular is great for anybody who's trying to get a program started, because it's designed to be an esports crash course. Because we recognize that a lot of schools want to create esports programs but don't necessarily know what to do.
Yes. True.
I'm struggling with this one.
This is tough.
Not get high enough. Come on.
Oh no, I was in the last spot. I landed on my back on the top. I finally made it somehow.
There we go.
Oh my, this is incredibly tough. No, I'm stuck underneath it. This game's so fun.
This game is great. I am not great at it, but this game is still great.
Oh! Oh my lord.
No!
They made this. I did it. Oh my lord, I made it. No! Okay. So, yeah. So you and Matt are... Unless you have someone else on.
So it's me and Matt and Elliot are kind of the
Elliot.
core of 1HP. But we do also have some really great registered dietitians, performance coaches, clinical and sports psychologists. We also work with the International Federation of Esports Coaches, which is a great group of folks. I think I mentioned before, based out of the UK.
What is this? International Federation.
Yeah, so I have to say, when they first launched, I was like, oh great, another one of those international groups claiming legitimacy in esports. These guys are actually legit.
So
Matt and Laura are fantastic. They have actually worked with teams. They've also done some really great research on the nature of performance in esports and kind of coaching strategies in esports. They're not just claiming the title. They actually do have legitimacy, I swear. We do a lot of work with them to provide basically coaching for coaches, education for coaches about how do I do this.
Mm-hmm. Okay, the logo looks familiar. Okay, now I'm following all their socials. Oh, I see Tobias, obviously, and
yes,
different folks. Oh, I gotta play. I joined their Discord, so we'll see how that goes.
Oh, they're great.
Oh,
they
wait.
offer.
I'm dead.
We got 11 minutes. Sorry.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, they offer a lot of. They actually offer a couple courses of their own as well.
Okay.
Specifically for folks who are getting started in coaching, because I think a lot of folks in esports have a knowledge of like the mechanics of gameplay and the mechanics of coaching. Like they could absolutely teach you how to control a lane, how to do better with your last hits, how to when to peek, when to smoke, what your optimal routes and strategies are. But on the soft skills side of things, the teamwork, the communication, mental performance, resilience, toughness, those aren't necessarily things that they have education in, which is fair. So these are the kinds of courses that IFOAC offers, which is how to do that part of coaching, how to structure a practice session, the nature of how learning works, how to set goals and how to progress goals, the kinds of things that you can't necessarily just learn by playing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm in their Discord. Lots of good stuff here.
Yeah.
Okay. I love it. So this is fun because you mentioned the certification world. Before all that madness of, I don't even remember what org it was that came out with the certification that was created by 40 people and 39 of them had no idea they were a part of it. I don't even remember what that was, to be honest. I know I mentioned it recently, but we won't badmouth. So because before that, Coach Alney and I, we created a bunch of videos because we were talking to high schools and middle schools a ton over the years about why esports is beneficial in schools, and we just kept having the same phone calls over and over and over.
Yeah.
So we created our What is Esports course, Why Does It Matter, How to Start a Club. And we created these courses just so people could watch them before we had a conversation.
And this will make our conversation go smoother.
That's exactly why we did it. And so, 2,000 people later, we're redoing them right now. We're adding them in. And so I definitely will be hitting you and Matt up for...
Yeah, sure. If you want to include any health and performance components to it, we're happy to talk about the benefits there.
1,000%.
I think one of the things too, because you talked about, you were creating this with these educational conversations in mind. I think the biggest difference in terms of what's valuable versus what's kind of a cash grab is we're talking about a very limited and specific scope. We made a course that focuses on health and performance. I'm not going to try and speak to management or to gameplay. That's not my role. That's not my scope. I don't have the knowledge and skill necessary to provide that. What I do have the knowledge and skill necessary to provide is this specific niche. This area I know enough about to offer something useful. And so I think that's the biggest difference between the cash grab certificates and the kinds of things that you and I and IFOEC do. We know our scope. We know our lane. We know what lanes aren't ours. And it's equally important to know what you're good at and like what's out of your lane.
Yeah. That's a good point. Well, I look at this and I'm like, well, here's the thing. Back when we were creating those courses and we had a bunch of coaches saying, hey, like we need to know about Discord. We need to know about health and wellness. How do you run practices? So we were trying to figure out, and me and Danny Martin were having this conversation many years ago.
Yeah.
Because he started up his own courses as well.
Danny's
And
great.
he's like, Bubba, how did you get accredited to teach these certifications, these courses? Like, we just did it because there's nobody out there.
There's no who's gonna accredit us. Like, look, the accreditation that we have is very specific to certain healthcare professions. Like, there's no accrediting body out there. And to be honest, if there was somebody claiming that they were an accrediting body in esports at this point, I don't know that I'd believe them. I'd probably think they were a scam, and I probably wouldn't listen to them.
Well, we did a bunch of research, and we're like, why? How do you do it? How do you become an accrediting body? That's exactly like, how do you become an accrediting body? And what we kept struggling with was, well, lawyers and plumbers and everybody else have an accrediting body, and how do they create it? They just got experts together and created it.
Yeah.
And so,
they got a bunch
like,
of people who knew what they were doing and said,
so,
all
like,
right, we're gonna listen to you now.
I think if a bunch of people, and I don't think I would be, I think you and other cool, awesome, smart people would be good at having this accredited label, to be honest. So I think there is a possibility for it, but you're right. It's just people. It's just, you can't just throw it out and say we're an accrediting body.
I think it's also, I think a lot of the folks who are qualified enough to do well at, contributing to some degree of accreditation or validation, a lot of the folks who know enough to do that well know enough to not want to do it.
That's good.
It's because the amount of pushback that you're going to have, the amount of bureaucracy you're going to have to deal with, like there's a lot of hurdles there. And I think a lot of the folks who would do it really well also recognize that the amount of work it would take from them to do it really well is a lot. So I think that presents a bit of a barrier. And I think it's why a lot of the accrediting bodies we've gotten previously haven't been the best, because it's not necessarily who's the most capable, it's who's the most available.
Interesting. I like that.
And unfortunately, a lot of the capable people are already doing a lot of stuff and wearing 20 different hats in esports.
Yes. Yes, I don't know why I put myself through this and have so many different things going on. But we all like giving, I guess.
Yeah. I just like esports. Like, the stuff is cool. There's so much cool stuff we get to do, and I want to do all of it.
Right. This is by far one of the harder maps here, by the way.
I know this one.
Struggle on this one. How about just going back and forth? How about just going back and forth? Just enjoying your time. So, what is on the horizon for you, 1HP? What's on the horizon?
So a lot of the stuff we're working on this year is the collegiate work that I mentioned. That's a big part of things for us. We're continuing to work with pro teams, obviously. We're also building out some new courses for the Esports Health and Performance Institute, because right now we've got our foundations course, which is kind of that crash course to esports that I mentioned. But we've also got our medical course. That one is more designed for, again, medical professionals who are doing physical health and rehabilitation type stuff. But we're also working on a performance science course. And so that will be involving a lot more nutrition and dietetics, some of the mental performance side of things, some of the psychology side of things, some of the sleep performance sides of things. To continue to grow and develop that. And then also looking to do a lot more like individual work with players, kind of like that kind of telehealth stuff.
I'm just trying to push people.
I was not trying to push people. I was not doing that strat.
I like, there's so many people on, so I guess we qualify. Right? Okay. Okay. So that's now. You had mentioned the courses.
Yep, we also do a lot of we've been doing a lot of more consulting. Not in like the I'm an esports consultant on LinkedIn kind of way, but in like working with like peripherals companies, working with companies that make chairs and desks and monitor arms and mice and keyboards to help them with ergonomic design. Consulting with schools that are looking to launch their programs and set up their space for players, and are wanting to make sure that the space that they have is helpful and ergonomic and healthy and optimal from a both a performance standpoint and from a financial standpoint. We do try and help with budgeting. So I recognize that is level. That is certainly a consideration.
Yeah. Yeah, so are you, when you're talking about going to talk to schools, are you talking about health and wellness, or are you like, hey, we're going to help you find equipment, or you're going to help
Do
you
both.
make sure? Okay.
So
Interesting.
we've got some partnerships with equipment companies that we've
Yeah.
been able to use that have been helpful.
Good.
We've also done a lot of health and wellness consulting for them in terms of, I mean, college is definitely a unique setting for that, for sure, because you're dealing with a lot of folks who are on their own for the first time in their life, and so like, getting to make decisions is exhilarating, and getting to make decisions is exhausting and sometimes hard. So we do kind of whatever a program needs. And some programs, what they need is help setting up the space, where we work with our kind of product partners for that, and sometimes what we do is just the health and performance component of the new team that they're putting together. No.
Who are you guys working with in the, just for product wise?
So we've worked with Razer. We've worked with this company called Edge. They make chairs and desks that are newer. We've worked with Moss Gamer Tech out of Singapore in the past.
Okay.
There's a couple other folks that we're talking to that, you know,
Great.
nothing solid yet. We've had folks work with Secret Lab in the past. Don't do that currently, but we have in the past.
I see. Nice. Okay. Well, hey, thanks for playing with me. And
Absolutely.
and
Thank you
having
for
fun
carrying me through a couple of those rounds there.
No, this ditto. Likewise. I'm gonna give you the 30-second hot seat, and I'm gonna put you solo screen, and you get to talk about whatever you want to talk about, and promote whatever you want to promote, and tell people where to follow you, all that stuff. So,
Sure.
the hot seat is yours.
All right, so I'll start with the where to follow me. You can find me on Twitter, Kate McGee PT. That's my username on just about everything. You can add me on Discord. You can email me there at Gmail, or find me on Twitter. I do answer my DMs, and they're always open. I'm always happy to answer your questions about health and performance in particular. If I could soapbox about any one particular thing, I'm going to soapbox about the fact that most esports injuries that we see are not carpal tunnel. A lot of what we see is tendinopathy and posture issues. And the good news about all those kinds of injuries is they're super duper preventable. They're often called overuse injuries. They could be more accurately called under preparation injuries, because your body is capable of being prepared to take on those strains. You just have to actually do the preparation. So if you're interested in learning how to not get those under preparation type injuries, feel free to check out our YouTube channel, which is 1hp.org. You can also check out our blog on 1-hp.org. Those all have lots of guides and videos and infographics, just education about how to take better care of your body for health and for performance in games. And if you're a healthcare professional who's interested in taking any of our courses through the Esports Health and Performance Institute, feel free to shoot me a DM. I will more than happily give you a discount code on any of our courses.
Amazing. All right, 1-hp.org in the chat.
That's us.
Awesome. I love it. I see all the amazing stuff. And Caitlin, this was so much fun. You made this real easy. You have so much knowledge and so much expertise that my list of questions of all things around esports, you just did great. Thank you for doing that. I appreciate that.
Thank you so much for having me on. Really love the opportunity to just get more education out to anybody.
Yeah. Well, I definitely know Matt will be on Friday. We're going to play some Fork Knife, and we'll definitely talk some more. But I definitely, with both of you guys, we want to, however the foundation can get you in more schools and do whatever you're doing, I'm here for you with that. So
we'd love to. Anything that we can do in that regard, more than happy to talk about off stream. Make sure on Friday to ask Matt about the fact that he is the only professional esports player turned physical therapist. Ask him about that specifically.
Okay. Okay, I'll remember that. I'll write that down.
All right.
Well, feel free to hang out in the control room, or you can log off, and but if not, I'll catch you up in the control room. Appreciate you.
All right.
Okay, everyone, thank you so much for being here for episode 1, season 3, episode 1 of Invite Sent. And we played some Fall Guys today. Definitely check back on Friday, right back here on all your platforms, all your streaming platforms. We're on 10 different platforms right now. And you can chime in, ask questions. We're going to have Matt Hugh from 1HP as well. And we're going to talk some more health and wellness and physical therapy. And I guess now I'm asking him a question about his history as a former pro player, now PT. So let's see how that goes. And maybe there's some inside jokes I need to know. So, David, thank you so much for being here in the chat. He says, yeah, it's great to hear from you, Caitlin. Praise the fun. Seth Johnson, Kyle, Nate, and Seth Jenny, thank you guys for being here today in the chat. Check back Friday. We're going to be on at 4 Eastern, right back here on any channel that you're watching now. Appreciate you guys. Stay amazing. We'll see you next time.
Hello, my name is Christy Kester. As a public educator for the past 24 years, I have watched as interest in esports has exploded in schools across the world. Last fall, I joined the High School Esports League and helped to establish the education department. Since then, we have been working hard to integrate esports into education to create a scholastic gaming experience where students can learn, play, and compete. With our evidence-based, STEM.org approved gaming concepts curriculum, schools can offer 4-credit classes during the school day that help improve chronic absenteeism, student engagement, and mental health.
As a senior health advisor for High School Esports League and a former ER physician, I see the incredible need for supporting mental health in students in today's schools. In fact, schools at a formidable crossroads where a pervasive and persistent decline in youth mental health now intersects with staff burnout. This has not been a sudden problem, but rather one we've seen over decades. The American Academy of Pediatrics announced in 2019 that 1 out of 3 students meets the criteria for generalized anxiety disorder before graduation. And the CDC reaffirmed that between 2009 and 2019, depression increased in adolescents by roughly 40%. The most telltale sign that grabbed all of our hearts was when the Surgeon General announced in December of 2021 that female adolescents increased their visits to the emergency departments around the nation by 51% for suicidal ideations. In the face of this, schools are desperately seeking solutions and ways to support those that struggle with mental health challenges. Now, these statistics that I mentioned are averages. We know there are some cohorts that are at higher risk, particularly those students who do not feel they have a safe place or a legitimate connection to school. That's where esports represents a tremendous opportunity. Students who are not currently involved with sports, music, arts, and traditional extracurriculars are left with minimal opportunities to make a connection. Yet many of these students find connections to their friends and other social outlets through online activity, including gaming. So, Scholastic Gaming represents an opportunity to leverage an area of interest into a legitimate class that meets state standards and expectations, all through an evidence-based curriculum that can simultaneously support self-esteem, self-efficacy, and life skills in many kids who desperately need it.
Hi, my name is Michael Russell. During my career as a teacher, I was fortunate enough to have the support of my administrator as I began the journey to establish the first 4-credit Scholastic Gaming course in the nation. At HSEL, we have the resources and data to help you speak with your administrators about the impact that Scholastic Gaming and esports can have for your students. We have strategies that can help you with acquiring technology and curriculum, such as ESSER funds, grant applications, and partnerships. The High School Esports League has invested significant resources in helping our education partners, and we are excited about this opportunity to help you establish Scholastic Gaming in your school.
Hello there, gamers and mental health enthusiasts. Today, we're diving into a groundbreaking study that explores the intersection of scholarly gaming and mental health education, and how it can impact the self-esteem of adolescents. Picture this: a world where scholarly gaming isn't just about mastering technology-based career skills or dominating the world of video game business. No, it's a world where gaming becomes a gateway to improving mental health. 3 visionary educators and a school-based health intervention expert came together to create a curriculum that aligns with academic guidelines from the International Society for Technology Education. This curriculum spans 40 lessons, delivered over 14 weeks with a minimum of 120 minutes per week. But here's the twist: 83 schools were invited to participate, but they were divided into 2 groups, those with mental health moments and those without. The non-mental health moment group got the scholarly gaming curriculum alone, while the mental health moment group got an extra layer of education. Mental health moments were embedded into 27 lessons, integrating concepts from the PERMA framework and the collaborative academic, social, and emotional learning standards, otherwise known as CASEL. Now, let's meet our players. 471 participants from both groups, with almost 75% in high school, many experiencing scholarly gaming for the first time. A majority were male, and the racial diversity was broad. At the start, the average self-esteem score was 17.9, with 22.1% reporting low self-esteem. But hold on, the game's just beginning. As the study progressed, it revealed some fascinating results. While 57.7% of participants with low self-esteem at the beginning reported average self-esteem post-intervention, the mental health moments group stole the spotlight. Self-esteem scores improved by 8.3% in the mental health moments group, compared to no change in the non-mental health moments group. How's that for a power-up? Some students even shifted from abnormally low self-esteem scores to normal ranges. The message is loud and clear. Educators, healthcare providers, and adolescent advocates pay attention. Non-traditional educational instructions, like scholarly gaming, combined with mental health moments, can significantly improve students' well-being. And there you have it, a journey through the power of scholarly gaming and mental health moments. Remember, your self-esteem matters, and sometimes all it takes is a little extra support to level up. Thanks for joining us on this adventure. Until next time, keep gaming, keep learning, and most importantly, keep believing in yourself.